This is a very different video than what I normally create. I don't even know how to start this, honestly. So first off, I am still in the van here in Vegas alone, waiting for Cody to return from New York. A couple days ago, I had a very scary situation happen and unfold for me. The day after I filmed the last video, I was eating my lunch and then I went to do dishes, and partway through washing the dishes, I realized that the gray water was full, and so I was like, alright, stop what I'm doing and let's just go to the dump station, empty it, and then I can come back and then finish what I'm doing. In the park that I am staying at, I'm on basically like the very last loop when you drive the furthest into the park. And the dump station is like pretty much as soon as you pull in. So I drive through the park, and as I am, like, I can see the dump station. Immediately in my mind, I had the idea of like, oh, maybe I should go to this other place to dump the gray water instead. And then like, human me is like, no, like I'm not driving 45 minutes away when the dump station, I can see the dump station. It's like 30 yards away from where I am currently driving the van. It's like, that's ridiculous. I'm just going to use the dump station here. There's no reason for me to drive on the other side of Vegas to dump it somewhere else. So anyways, essentially I get to by the bathroom. So there's like a bathroom directly across from the dump station. And then there's like a loop that goes around the bathroom that connects to the main road. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically I wanted to make sure I could make the turn because I needed to basically turn the van all the way around to park it against a curb to then use the dump station. So in order to make sure that I could successfully get it around without having to make like, you know, a 20-point turn in this giant van, I decided to take the little like loop that goes around the bathroom. So as I turn, I realize that there's just some guy sitting at a picnic table reading something, and just like next to his car. There was no tent, there was no camping gear of any kind, and in fact the guy actually looked out of place. He wasn't wearing like a business suit, but he definitely wasn't wearing just like casual clothes, if that makes sense. He almost reminded me of like a science teacher or like a math professor. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, what he was wearing just didn't fit for like the environment. And anyways, so I'm having to take this loop. He's like on the edge of like the beginning of the loop, and he's looking directly at me. Now, another thought that I had, which I forgot to mention earlier, was before I even had the first thought of like dumping the gray water at a different spot, I had another thought that came to mind of like, maybe I should drop the divider wall. And I'm like, that's silly. Like, I am already at a campground. People already know that this is obviously a camping, like a camper van. Like, I'm not going to drop the divider wall just to empty the gray water and then have to like roll it back up, like whatever. It's like this whole thing. But as I'm like going around this U and I see this guy that looks completely out of place, I realize, fuck, I definitely should have dropped the divider wall, because he can see straight in through the windshield that it's clearly just me in the driver's seat. There's nobody sitting in the passenger seat. In fact, there's like a bunch of stuff like occupying the passenger seat, and then I'm in the driver's seat. And then the divider wall is not down, it is rolled up, and so you can see straight into the van. So like, clearly I am alone. So as soon as I see him, I'm like, oh, I really wish I dropped the divider wall. I wish I would have listened to that. And like, whatever, like, let's just hurry up and get this over with, basically. So I go around the building and then get back on the main road, and then, you know, go off to the right to be able to like line up with the curb. And, you know, I'm checking my mirror, make sure that like I'm lining up the hole. So then I go to get out, roll down the window so I don't accidentally lock myself out of the van. I keep the van running. And then I go around to the passenger side, which is where the valve is. And then I realize I need to pull up a couple more feet because I didn't calculate it correctly. So I go back around, hop in the van, pull it up a tiny bit, get back out, and then drain the gray water. And this whole entire time, my heart is like pounding out of my chest. And I'm like literally like grabbing myself and being like, dude, like, you're good. Like, fucking breathe. Like, what is your problem? You're fine. Like, nothing threatening is happening right now. Like, this will be over in just a couple minutes, and like, you're okay. And And I could not fucking calm down, and I'm like so confused. I'm like, dude, this is such a normal part of like everyday life in van life. Is like, yeah, every couple of days you gotta empty this fucking thing. Like, it's not like I was doing a task that I've never done before. So anyways, I'm like so freaked out that I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna stop this. Like, it's empty enough, like I can wash my dishes, and it's probably still gonna be good for a couple more days. So I just like shut the valve and then go around the front of the van and get back into the driver's seat. As I'm coming around the front of the van, I realize the guy's not sitting there anymore. His car's still there, but I didn't see him anywhere. So then I was like, oh, he probably went to the bathroom. Like, you know, when I first saw him, I was like, oh, maybe he's here. Like, when I had seen him, I thought to myself, like, maybe he's just here on lunch break, or something. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of like, are like, oh, they probably just came to the park to have lunch here. He's just sitting at a picnic table. Not a big deal. But then when I came back, like, when I came around the front of the van and I saw that he wasn't there, I was like, okay, like, well, maybe he used the bathroom, because literally the bathroom is not very far. It's like a 30-second walk to get to the bathroom from where he was parked. So I was like, he's probably just using the bathroom. So I get in, lock the doors immediately, wash my hands at the sink, and then hop back in the driver's seat. And as soon as I get into the driver's seat, I see that he's walking back to his car. But he's not coming from the bathroom. So the orientation in which I'm looking at him, like, he was here with his car, the bathroom was here, but he wasn't coming from the bathroom. He was coming from a different campsite, or maybe he hid behind a tree or a bush of some kind to try to basically like scope me out. And once he was like walking, like, he walked back to his car. Like, he didn't walk back to sit at the picnic table to continue reading and like whatever he was doing. He went back to his car. So then I am like, okay, like, there's something fucking weird about this, because like my intuition already told me a couple of fucking things, like suggestions of what I could do instead of like doing the gray water here, and I didn't listen to those things. So my next thought is like, let me see if I can see his license plate. So I grab the binoculars out of Cody's door. I'm still so like freaked out by this, like I can barely breathe. So I grabbed the binoculars out of Cody's door, but he was parked at such an angle that I couldn't make out any of the letters or numbers, but I could see like the colors of the license plate. And I knew it wasn't just like a standard license plate from like any particular state, because once you travel enough, you know exactly what the normal plates look like for each state versus like when somebody orders like a specialty one, like, you know, like a little fancier one. So I noticed that it's like this light blue and white, and so I'm like, okay, I literally have no fucking idea what that could be. I don't know if it's Nevada, California, like I have no idea. So it's like, at least I know what the color is. The car is like this like darker blue, and it's just like a standard like small compact four-door car, and it looks like it's nicer, newer. I don't know, like I'm not a car person, so I couldn't tell you the make and model. But anyways, so at this point I'm like, okay, at least I know what the license plate color is, so if for some reason I happen to see him again, like I can identify that, like, yeah, that is definitely the same fucking car. So anyways, so I am like, all right, what do I do now? And so I'm debating, do I leave the campground and drive into the city? That way, if he is following me, I can, like, you know, get to a busier place, because at this point in the day, it was already, I think it was like 12:30ish, and so pretty much like most of the people at the campground left for the day. Like, if they were gonna come back to stay again for another night, like, they all left for the day. I was the only person on my loop that whole afternoon, and like the part of the park where he was, that loop, there was only one other camper there, so like it was pretty like desolate. So that was my initial thought, was like to drive to the city, but then I was like, well, if I drive into the city, then I won't know for sure if he's following me or if I'm just being paranoid. And then if he actually is following me, it'd be easier for him to kind of like, I don't know, like put a tracker on the van, or like, I don't know, your fucking brain goes to so many places. So I'm like, okay, I don't think that's the right idea. I'm like, if he is following me, at least if I drive back to the campsite, then I will know for sure that like this dude's following me. So I start heading towards my campsite, and I'm just driving down this road past all these other little loops, and just as I'm about to turn onto my loop, again, another thought came through of like, maybe you should drive around that loop. And by that loop, I mean the loop I'm camping at, it's like the road and then the loop goes like this, or you can drive straight and then there's like a loop that's not a camping loop, it's just to like turn around. So if you have a big camper or RV or something and you need to reorient to like either park it or to leave the campground, basically, like that's the best way to do such a thing. Like you're not allowed to camp there. There's no like hiking trails or anything. So anyways, I was like, okay, I'm like, why am I going to drive all the way over there? Like I can see my campsite from here. Like I'm just going to go post up at my campsite. So I get into my campsite, I park, and then I park at an angle so that I'm basically barricading the entrance of my campsite. So instead of parking, you know, like backing in and being at like the angle, you have like the view, I was like, no, I'm gonna fucking, instead of backing in, I'm gonna fucking park like against the grain basically of like the driveway to just barricade it. So I park across the thing and then I'm like, okay, do I leave the van on for a few minutes? Because it's like 100 degrees out at this point. So I'm like, I'll just let the AC crank for a few minutes and like calm myself down. So I'm just sitting there, got the AC going, I haven't put any of the window covers back in, and just like cooling off, trying to calm down. And I'm like, okay, let me fill my water at least, you know, let's do that, try to take my mind off of it. So I grab the ice out of the freezer, and then just as I'm like opening the ice tray to put some ice into my water bottle, I hear a car coming, and I look out the driver window, which is like up against the road at this point, and this fucking guy followed me all the way over here. Oh my god, my heart was basically outside of my body by that point in time, because I'm just like, dude, there is literally no fucking reason for this guy to have driven anywhere on this side of the campground, let alone this loop. Like, that dude was specifically looking for me. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, before I left the fucking dump station, while I was debating whether to go to the city or to just stay at the campground, I went to drive off, and because I was literally so flustered, I ended up driving over this like manhole cover that was like up on a curb with both passenger tires, and just looked like a complete psychopath, like fucking hightailing it out of this dump station to try to get back to my campsite. So I'm already drawing even more attention to myself outside of the fact that this dude's just like fucking lasered in, like dialed in on me. Anyways, so yeah, so I see him drive by and my fucking heart sinks, and sure enough, it's the license plate that I saw, like the light blue with the white, and like I think it was like light blue mountains, and then it was just like a white sky or just a white background, and it was Nevada. He drove by fast enough where I couldn't actually still make out exactly like to memorize the numbers or like whatever. So I see him and I'm like, yep, that's literally the car. That's the guy. He followed me over here, and I'm like so fucking freaked out. So at this point, I'm calling Cody and like asking him like, what do I do? Like, nobody's on this loop with me. Everyone left for the day. I don't know, you know, like how many people are coming back. Like, I have no idea what to do at this point. I'm like, do I leave? Do I stay? And so he basically helped me get like a game plan and just told me, you know, like keep an eye out, like don't put the windshield cover back in yet. That way, you know, you can keep track of like who's driving by and stuff, instead of just like having it all walled off and then the only thing I can see is like out the slider door. So I was like, okay. And then he basically was just like, you know, like if you end up feeling uncomfortable, if he comes back, like just go to a different campsite, you know. And like I was super annoyed too, because like I really like this campsite, especially this specific spot here at this campground. Like it's just so beautiful and peaceful, and like I don't know, like I feel like you have privacy because there's like bushes and shit everywhere, whereas anywhere else you camp it's like wide open and like I don't know. Anyways, like I already had the whole fucking like week booked here, plus like the entry fee for the actual park, because this is like whatever. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna like move because some fucking guy just is like being a creeper. That was my initial thought, but obviously if he came back, then like, yes, I'm gonna move. But yeah, so Cody basically helped me get like a game plan in place of like, if he comes back, like this is what I'm gonna do. And then he basically was just like, instead of keeping the slider open all day, like keep the windshield cover off, that way you can see out the window as people drive by, and just keep the slider door closed and lock all the doors, and just like crack the window, run the fan. He's like, if you need to turn the van back on to run the AC for a little while to keep cooling it off, like just do that. Like do not leave the door open, because he could very easily just like sneak in and like you're trapped inside the van. So basically sat in a hot box for several hours that day. I was so pissed too because I literally had just finished all my work right before lunch and was excited to like just go sit outside and just stare at nature for the rest of the day and like just have this like nice, just relaxing, fucking peaceful day of solitude. And like this fucking guy ends up ruining that for me. And then from that moment forward, anytime anybody drove by, I would immediately pull out the like video recorder on my phone, like ready to hit record in case it was him again, to like, you know what I mean, like to get some type of fucking like evidence of the car and the license plate and all that sort of stuff. And then if he did it multiple times, to be like, yo, this dude is like following me. So anyways, I basically just lived in paranoia for the whole fucking day. Didn't put any windshield cover or like any of the window covers in until it was like almost pitch black out, so I didn't have any of the lights on either, so I could see out. And then like eventually around like 7:30 I closed everything up with all the window covers and then turned the light on and then finally watched some YouTube and like had a snack and then attempted to go to bed and literally was like half, like I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like if you're so freaked out that you can't actually sleep all the way, so you're like basically half awake the whole night, you're not getting any like restful sleep, you're just like hyper vigilant the whole night, and then if like a pin drops you just immediately are like, what was that? Like that was basically my experience the other night. And so then the next morning I woke up and you know I was alive. Nothing happened to me, and then my immediate thought was like, I need to check the van and make sure there's like no like air tag or anything like that trying to track me. So I walked around the whole van with my Bluetooth on to just scan everything to see, you know, just to make sure that I was good. Didn't find anything, thank God. So after I had checked for the Bluetooth and everything, I had my coffee pretty quickly that morning, and then I ended up just sleeping for the entire day because I wasn't sure if he was going to come back to try to look for me again, and I was just really scared that everyone was going to leave during the day again and I would be here by myself. So yeah, that was really scary. This is not the first time something like this has happened to me. Unfortunately, it's happened quite a few times throughout my life. And I journaled about it, as I do. That's the best way for me to process anything, is to write about it. And then talk to Cody's ear off about it for like 2 days. So like I processed a lot of this, but it just still kept like, I still kept thinking about it in the back of my mind, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should just share this story here, because whether it helps save other women or even men, because I know that, you know, gender isn't specific when it comes to like stalking and being creepy as fuck, to just like share my experience that just happened to me, and that way it could validate somebody else's experience, because in that moment I'm like, every little thing that was happening, I kept convincing myself, like, well, maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe maybe it's not what I think it is. And like, I don't know, at least as like a female that was just programmed my entire life to be polite and nice and like think the best of people and like give everyone the benefit of the doubt, blah, blah, blah. Like it's easy for us to just like rationalize shit like that instead of understanding that our intuition is speaking fucking directly to us. And I have goosebumps fucking everywhere. It's speaking directly to us, like it's always trying to keep us safe. And like, so if you relate to that story or just like aspects of it and like that feeling of like, am I being fucking paranoid, or is this person actually watching me or following me or whatever, like, no, they're following you. Like if your intuition is ringing alarm bells, that you need to pay attention to. And I still don't know if I made the right choice, because like obviously I kept going against everything my intuition is telling me, like all these little step-by-step things, and I'm writing it off as like, what are you talking about? I'm not driving 45 minutes away. I'm not, you know, putting the fucking divider wall down, because that's an extra 3 minutes for when I hit the park again. Like, it's just so stupid. So I just wanted to share that in case you have experienced anything like that. And if you haven't, and you happen to be a male watching this, a man of any kind, I would just like to inform you, if you have not learned this yet in your life, that if you see a woman that you find attractive or intriguing or whatever, or a man, like again, not gender specific, so I need to try to take gender out of it. Okay, if you are a human being that doesn't understand how to act and how to human in public, let me just tell you this. If you are staring at somebody because you're intrigued by them or you find them attractive or whatever the case is, if they catch you looking at them, please divert your attention away as soon as like they catch you, because that is something I've noticed throughout different experiences I've had of this, where people just like don't understand, like, I can see you staring at me, why are you not looking away? Like, that's like a normal way to human, is like somebody catches you staring at them, you're like, oh, and then you look away and pretend like you weren't staring at them. That is a normal fucking way of acting. Now, literally the next day when I left for the whole fucking day, I had to go to Aldi to grab a few more groceries, and a guy was following me around in fucking Aldi and like not even being like inconspicuous at all either. He would literally walk by me and like whip his head like this and just continue like walking while staring at me, and I'm looking at him and he's not even like remotely registering that, like, dude, I see you staring at me, stop fucking staring at me. So I ended up just like hanging out in the back of the store and waited until he went up to the register and then like watched him leave, and then I went up and did my thing. Like, women and people, so again, I'm not trying to like make this all gender specific, because I'm sure there's also women stalkers that stalk men, but like, speaking from a woman's point of view, like, please stop being a fucking creep. Like, if you're a dude, don't be a creep. Like, understand that women already feel on edge as it is out in public, and they don't need some other person bringing more reasons for them to feel paranoid and like afraid. And again, I can't speak on behalf of all women, because there are definitely women out there that know how to fucking hold their own, and I know how to hold my own too. But in that situation, when somebody's following you, to whether it's following you home, I've been followed home many times, I've had some like really scary things happen, and like what I just shared with you wasn't the scariest thing that's ever happened to me, but it was a scary thing that did take place. But when you're vulnerable in those moments, like, he followed me back to where I'm sleeping for the night. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's not okay. That is not how we human, guys. Alright, and so here are some pointers. If you are a man watching this, I want to share with you, in case you were not taught this at any other previous point of your life, that in public, if you are, let's say, walking through a parking lot and a female is walking towards you, you know, if you want to ensure that she feels safe, like, cross to the other side of, like, the aisle. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, move out the way. And if you can't move out the way, just, like, politely say hello. Or, like, smile. Something to indicate, like, hey, I'm just a normal person going about my day. I respect you and your space. I'm gonna keep it moving. Here are things you don't do. You don't follow women. You don't stare at them after they catch you staring at them. And just don't continue staring at them, basically. Stop that. Don't do that. Don't follow them. Don't follow them through a grocery store. Don't follow them home. Don't follow them in their vehicle. Just leave people alone. Like, leave women alone. They are not interested. That's, like, so terrifying. And I've noticed that, like, I'll be in public and there are men where I know for a fact that they were taught to be respectful. And they were taught, like, hey, if a woman is walking towards you, you walk, like, to the other side of that other car. Like, you get away from them so that they can freely walk through without feeling threatened by you. And there's so many men that I have, even in the last few weeks, like, I remember all these different encounters of guys specifically moving away from me to make sure that I had the space that made me feel safe. And I super appreciate that. Like, we need to be teaching people how to fucking human, apparently, because that's not, like, taught everywhere. And so, like, outside of, like, how to properly human in public and not be a creepy stalker, I also just want to remind you, man or woman, doesn't matter, or whatever your gender is, like, always keep your head in a swivel. Be present with your surroundings. Observe things. Pay attention. Like, is there someone or something that just, like, doesn't quite belong in the environment that you are entering or that you are existing in? Because that could potentially be a threat. So just please stay aware of your surroundings at all times. Keep yourself safe. Always listen to your intuition. Our intuition is constantly talking to us. We just need to be, like, present enough to understand, like, oh, this, like, random thought I'm having right now, it's not random. It came in for a reason. So please listen to your intuition, always. Excuse me. And I did end up finding after that whole incident happened, I ended up spending the entire afternoon just like watching all these self-defense and like how to spot predators and threats videos on YouTube. So I'm going to link a couple of those channels below. If you're interested in checking those out, I would highly recommend it, especially, again, to women who deal with stuff like this, because we need to keep ourselves safe. And yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to share about this experience. But I would love if you yourself, again, man, woman, whatever your gender is, please share your experiences below. So that way we can all collectively help each other become more aware of subtle behaviors and different things that could actually be a threat or danger to us in any way, shape, or form. The more aware we are of something or the potential of dangers, like the better equipped we are to face shit head on if something were to ever happen. So if you've ever had an experience yourself, please share it below so that we can all collectively learn from each other's experiences and keep ourselves safe. But yeah, this is a very different video than what I normally create. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, I will see you very soon.